Cabin at the End of the World, that's going to be made into a film,
Yes,
but it's not called The Cabin at the End of the World. It's Knock at the Cabin.
correct.
It's obviously directed, produced, and written by M Night Shyamalan. I hope I said his name right because it's tongue tied for
I
me.
think you did. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, how did obviously before we talk about the book itself, how did that come about? Was it him particularly that approached you, or was it one of his partners or an executive from a studio? Do
Yeah.
tell about that journey.
So similarly to A Head Full of Ghosts, it was a production company slash, they finance some of their stuff too. But Film Nation, which is an American production company. Film Nation has done some really great movies. They did The Arrival, that alien one,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if you with Amy Adams, and they did most recently Promising Young Woman. Anyway, in 2017, Film Nation optioned the film, or the book, excuse me. And an option, just in case for anybody out there, an option means they just rent like 18 months exclusive access to be able to try to get your book make it into a movie. Then if they start filming, that's when they buy the rights. That's where, a much bigger check comes, along with other things. Anyway, so for the first couple of years, they had a couple of screenwriters working on a screenplay, and then they were going out to look for filmmakers. And it was like spring of 2019. They had some directors attached. They were really trying to like thread a needle because those two directors had another movie that they were starting, but they wanted to try to squeeze them in. It didn't work out. But toward the end of that conversation with those directors, I'd heard that M Night Shyamalan was interested in producing it, maybe because he had read the screenplay. So like, having been through it with A Head Full of Ghosts, you always hear exciting names attached, and then it never works out. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting and cool, but whatever. But that just sort of persisted to the point where like, um, I can't remember when exactly. It might have been during 2020. They're like, oh no, he wants to do the book. He wants to make this movie. He actually already has a deal in place, but he just needs to finish his other movie first, which was old.
Mm.
And then fast forward to November of 2021, so just about a year ago. That was when it, for the first time, I was like, oh wow, this is really going to happen, I think. And I did have a phone call with M Night, in November. So geez, almost exactly a year ago. It was a nice phone call. He was very complimentary about the book, and I was appreciative that he was upfront and telling me what he was going to change. Um, and so then it was like in spring of 2022. So this spring, the dates are getting messed up in my
Yeah,
head.
it's like,
Yeah, this spring they went to pre-production and they started filming like in late April and finished in early June. Yeah, so that last part went really fast, but after waiting around since 2017 when it was initially it was an option before the book was even published. I did get to go to the set for a couple days, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, it'll be out February 3rd worldwide.
I will be there. I did say I was like, I'm going. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't care, I'm going. But I just want to know, are you a wrestling fan?
I mean, I was when I was a younger kid, like Roddy
As you do,
Piper. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Piper was my favorite, Mr. Wonderful.
yeah. I met him a year before he
That
died.
sort of WWE.
Yeah.
What's that?
I met Roddy Piper a year before he died. I was in Cardiff. He was doing a tour,
Yeah,
and I just went up to him, but I was so surprised how small he was. But obviously, he was
right.
older. But it was mad to think. Looking back now, when I met him, he was smiling face like, "Oh, look at this guy right here," and he was just a wonderful, wonderful human being. But then the following year, it's like he passed away, and you just think, "Oh my God, I only just met him last year. Well, what the hell?"
Right.
But the reason why I ask is because obviously
Oh, right.
one of the main characters, Leonard, is being played by Dave Bautista, which obviously he's a former WWE guy. So
Right.
you say you went on the set, but did you meet him? And
I did.
what was that
Yeah.
like?
He is a ginormous human being. Like even, when he's going to be older, like Roddy, he's my height, 6'4", but 260 pounds of muscle, just like wide and tall. I mean, he seemed, no, he was very nice. I got to meet just about all the actors and they were super cool. And, I didn't get to talk to David as much as I got to talk to like Jonathan Groff and Ben Aldridge and Nikki Amuka Bird and,
Rupert
oh my
Grint?
gosh. So I only met him fleetingly because the 2 days I was there, he'd finished.
Okay.
But he did come back for like a reshoot. So I did, get to meet him briefly, which was cool. So no, it was a fun experience. I didn't get Rupert, but I did get David Bautista, and a few other of the actors in Night to sign a copy of my book after I left, which was fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I hope I get to that position one day. That's one of those things. I bet when you were on that set, you as the writer, your book is being made into a film. Are you standing there thinking, what the fuck did I do wrong?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely sort of like an unmooring, like mindfuck of an experience, frankly, but in a good way, like the
Yeah,
best
yeah.
possible way. It never felt like, oh, like they were inside my head. This is exactly what it looks like. That's not the case, at least not for this book and not for me, because I don't know, the book had such I worked on the thing for 15 months. It's a fixed thing in my head as to what it looked like and what the actors look like. However, it was, like I said, amazingly cool just to see the cabin and the actors, dressed in the same clothes and saying a lot of the same lines. I mean, it was definitely a cool experience that I hope, writers get to experience someday.